On my 30th birthday, I saw my family's post on Instagram. They surprised my sister with a trip to Paris. My mom commented, "She's the only one who makes us proud." I just smiled, opened the family bank account, and hit withdraw. The words hit me like a physical blow, a punch to the gut that stole my breath. She's the only one who makes us proud. It was my 30th birthday, and that single sentence, plastered on social media by my own mother, shattered every illusion I ever had about my family. I remember it like yesterday. My 30th birthday. There I was, sitting at my little kitchen table in Richmond, Virginia, a single, sad cupcake from the bakery downstairs staring back at me. I'd woken up that morning with a sliver of hope, you know? Maybe a call, a text, even a belated card. Instead, I got silence. And then I saw that Instagram post. It was my sister, Brooke, for years younger than me, beaming at the airport, luggage all packed, ready for a surprise trip to Paris our parents had just gifted her. The post was overflowing with heart emojis, exclamation points, and a cascade of congratulatory comments from family and friends. But it was my mom's comment, pinned right at the top for all the world to see, that punched the air right out of my lungs. "She's the only one who makes us proud." I refreshed the screen, almost desperate to believe I'd misread it. But no, there it was. My name is Ashley, and for the better part of 8 years, I'd been trying to prove to my family that I mattered. That day, it felt like I failed. Honestly, I wasn't even surprised. Not really. Because this was our family's oldest story. Brooke was the golden child, the shining star. Everything she touched turned to gold in their eyes. She got all the attention, all the praise, all the unwavering support. And me? I was just there. The backup plan. The one they tolerated but never, ever celebrated. You know, growing up, Brooke always had the best room, the brand new clothes, private tutors when she struggled with school. Me? Hand-me-downs. A quick pat on the head if I brought home straight A's. When Brooke decided she wanted to join the middle school dance team, my parents shelled out for expensive lessons and costumes without a second thought. But when I, a high schooler, wanted to take photography classes, my dad flat out told me, "We can't afford it, Ashley. Focus on practical things." So, I worked at a grocery store after school, saved every penny for a beat-up used camera. My photos even made it into a small art show once. My parents? They never came. Not once. But they were always front row, flowers in hand, for every single one of Brooke's dance recitals. Still, a tiny, foolish part of me hoped. I called Mom that afternoon, just to see if maybe, she'd simply forgotten. The phone rang and rang for times before she picked up. "Oh, Ashley." "Hi," she said, her voice already distracted. "I'm at the airport with your sister. Can I call you back?" My throat tightened. "It's my birthday, Mom." A beat of silence. I could hear the cacophony of the terminal, announcements blaring. Then, "Oh right. Happy birthday, honey. Listen, we're about to board. I'll call you later, okay?" And just like that, she hung up before I could even reply. I put the phone down, staring at that lonely cupcake again. My stomach churned. A cold, hard certainty began to set in. I opened my laptop and logged into the joint bank account I shared with my parents. For 6 years, I'd been automatically transferring $500 a month into it from my paycheck. This started after Dad's health scare. They were drowning in medical bills, no good insurance, so I stepped up. I had just landed my first big sales job, pulling in decent money. It felt like the least I could do. They were my parents, after all. Except, they never acknowledged it. Not once. "No thank you, no, we appreciate you." When I casually brought it up at Thanksgiving 2 years prior, Mom just waved it off. "Oh, that's sweet of you, Ashley, but we're fine." Really, we're fine. They were fine. And yet, here they were, dropping thousands on a spontaneous Paris trip for Brooke. I did the math in my head. 6 years. $500 a month. That's $36,000. $36,000 I'd poured into their lives, thinking I was helping, thinking maybe, finally, it would mean something. I clicked through the account history, each entry a fresh twist of the knife. Groceries, utilities, car payments. Then, it jumped out at me. A $4,000 charge labeled travel agency. Another $1,500 for boutique shopping. And just last month, a whopping $10,000 deposit into Brooke's personal account with the memo, gift. They hadn't been using my money for bills. Not for emergencies. They'd been using it for Brooke. I slumped back in my chair, my hands trembling, a wave of nausea washing over me. I felt like the biggest fool on earth. All those years, all that money. And they'd just been funneling it straight to Brooke, my sister. While I was over here, scraping by, living paycheck to paycheck, skipping vacations and new clothes just to make sure they were okay. I remembered all the times I'd said no to weekend trips with friends because I just couldn't afford it. The weeks I'd eaten ramen straight because my car needed repairs and I refused to touch my emergency fund. The countless sacrifices I'd made, convinced I was helping my family. All while my parents treated Brooke like a queen with my money. My money. I looked at the sad cupcake, then back at the glowing screen. And in that moment, a switch flipped. A cold, determined clarity settled over me. I made my decision. I clicked withdraw. It took me 3 days. 3 long, painstaking days to move all of it. $36,000 transferred back into my personal account in small, untraceable increments. I kept telling myself I'm not stealing. This is my money. I earned it. I gave it freely, yes, but they lied to me. They took advantage of me. So I'm taking it back. The guilt, oh, it hit me in waves at first. Lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was being petty, overreacting. But then, I'd remember Mom's comment. She's the only one who makes us proud. And just like that, the guilt would evaporate, replaced by something harder. Something cold. I didn't tell a soul. Not my friends. Not my coworkers. I just went to work, lived my life, pretended everything was normal. But inside, everything was different. Lighter somehow. Or maybe, just angrier. Brooke called me from Paris. On the 3rd day of her surprise trip. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Finally, I answered. Ashley, oh my God, you have to see this city. It's incredible. Mom and Dad are being so generous. We went to the Louvre yesterday, and tonight we're having dinner near the Eiffel Tower. Her voice bubbled with delight. Sounds nice, I said, flatly. The tone wasn't lost on her. Are you okay? You sound weird. I'm fine. Just busy. Then she said, well, I wanted to thank you. I know you've been helping Mom and Dad out. And I'm sure that's part of why they could do this for me. So, thank you. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I just mumbled, don't worry about it. You're the best big sister ever, she chirped, and I could practically hear her beaming through the phone. I hung up. Then I threw my phone across the room. The thing about Brooke was, she wasn't a bad person. Not mean. Not malicious. Just utterly oblivious. Spoiled rotten, yes, but not intentionally cruel. She truly believed the world revolved around her because that's exactly how Mom and Dad had raised her. And I couldn't even blame her for that. It wasn't her fault they'd chosen her as the favorite. But God, it still hurt. I thought back to when we were kids, maybe 10 and 14. I'd saved my allowance for 3 solid months for a vintage camera I'd seen at a pawn shop. The day I finally had enough money, I rushed home, bursting with excitement to show my parents. But Brooke had just flunked a math test. There they were, sitting at the kitchen table, consoling her, promising her a new tablet if she pulled her grades up. That's great, Ashley, Mom had said, barely glancing at my treasured camera. Now go do your homework. I took that camera to my room and cried. Not because I wanted praise, but because I just wanted them to care. Just a little bit. I spent the next week, the money burning a hole in my account, researching what to do with it. No way was I blowing this on something stupid. I wanted it to mean something. Something for me. I considered investments, a down payment on a house, but then an ad popped up for a medical billing course. A 6-month program, certifying me in healthcare administration. It was something I'd always been quietly interested in, but never had the time or, let's be real, the money to pursue. The upfront cost was $8,000. Before, that would have felt like an impossible dream. Now, I had the means. That night, I signed up. My parents didn't notice the missing money right away. Or maybe they did, and just didn't say anything. But about 2 weeks later, the call came. My dad. Ashley, we need to talk. My heart sank. About what? The account. There's been some kind of error. A lot of money is missing. Missing? I asked, feigning innocence. Yeah, over $30,000. I called the bank and they said it was transferred out. Do you know anything about that? I took a slow, deep breath, choosing my words carefully. I withdrew it. A stunned silence. You what? It was my money, Dad. I put it in there. I took it back out. The line went dead quiet. Then, Ashley, that money was for emergencies. We were counting on it. Emergencies? I repeated, my voice tight, laced with ice. Like a trip to Paris? Another silence. That's different, he finally mumbled. How? I shot back. Brooke needed a break. She's been working so hard, and your mom and I wanted to do something special for her. And what about me? The words burst out, sharper than I'd intended. I've been putting money into that account for 6 years, Dad. 6 years. Not once did you or Mom say thank you. Not once did you ask if I needed help. You just took it and gave it to Brooke. That's not fair, he said, but his voice completely lacked conviction. No, Dad. What's not fair is that I've been busting my ass to support this family while you treat me like I don't exist. So yeah, I took my money back. And I'm not sorry. I hung up before he could even respond. My hands were shaking again, but this time, it wasn't from guilt. It was from adrenaline. From finally standing up for myself. It felt good. Terrifying, but good. I poured myself a glass of wine, sat on the couch, just staring into space. A part of me expected the guilt to crush me, to feel worse. But instead, it was relief. Like I'd finally cut a rope that had been strangling me for years. The fallout? Immediate. That same evening, Mom called, her voice shrill, dripping with accusation. How could you do this to us, Ashley? We trusted you. Trusted me. I shot back, the anger burning. You've been lying to me for years. We didn't lie. We just didn't think you'd make such a big deal out of it. A big deal. My voice rose. Mom, that was $36,000. I gave you that money because I thought you needed it, and you spent it on Brooke. Brooke is going through a lot right now. She needed our support. And I didn't? She didn't answer that. Instead, she hit me with the classic, your father and I are very disappointed in you. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Of course you are. Because I'm always the disappointment, aren't I? Brooke can do no wrong but me. I'm just the screw-up who doesn't deserve anything. That's not true, she insisted, but it was weak. Isn't it, Mom? When's the last time you celebrated anything I did? When's the last time you even asked how I was doing? She went quiet. A long, unbearable silence. Then, we'll talk about this when you've calmed down. And she hung up. I wanted to cry. God, I wanted to. But the tears wouldn't come. Instead, I felt this hollow, gaping ache in my chest, like something vital had been ripped out. I'd always known Brooke was the favorite. But hearing Mom defend their favoritism so casually, so thoughtlessly, that's what truly broke me. After that, I practically threw myself into the medical billing course. It was more than just a class, it was an escape. A way to channel all that raw anger and searing hurt into something productive. The coursework was intense, demanding, but I loved it. For the first time in years, I felt like I was doing something purely for myself. Not to prove a point, not to earn approval. Just for me. Classes were evenings, twice a week. Weekends, I'd bury myself in a coffee shop, studying. I started meeting other students, people also trying to better their lives. And for once, I didn't feel so profoundly alone. There was Patricia, a single mom in her 40s, retraining after a factory layoff, looking for something stable. We'd grab lunch, and she'd tell me stories about her kids, about how tough life was, but how ultimately it was all worth it. You're doing the right thing, she told me one Saturday as we reviewed billing codes. Investing in yourself? That's the smartest thing you can do. My coworker, Vanessa, also noticed a shift in me. We'd been friendly, but now she'd invite me for coffee more often, genuinely asking how I was doing. I didn't tell her everything, but I told her enough about the money, about my family, about how invisible I'd always felt. You absolutely did the right thing, she insisted, as we sat in a cafe near our office. They were taking advantage of you. I keep telling myself that, I admitted, but part of me still feels guilty. Guilty? Why? Because they're my parents. And Brooke is my sister. I'm supposed to just forgive them, right? Vanessa shook her head. Ashley, forgiveness isn't the same as being a doormat. You can love your family and still set boundaries. Her words hit me hard. I'd spent so long trying to earn my family's love that I'd forgotten I didn't have to. I could just walk away. But walking away, I soon learned, was easier said than done. 3 weeks after my birthday, Brooke returned from Paris. She called me. This time, I answered. Ashley, what the hell is going on? Mom and Dad are furious with you. I'm sure they are. They said you took money out of their account. Is that true? It was my money, Brooke. But they needed it. No, they didn't. They used it to send you to Paris. A long pause. Then a small, choked voice. I didn't know that. Of course you didn't, I snapped. You never know anything, do you? You just get to coast through life while the rest of us pick up the pieces. That's not fair, she whispered. Maybe not, I countered, but it's true, Ashley. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. It doesn't matter anymore, I cut her off. Just enjoy your life, Brooke. That's what you're good at. I hung up. And I blocked her number. That night, I stared at my reflection in the mirror for a long, long time. I barely recognized the woman staring back. She looked harder, angrier, but also stronger. My mom's Instagram comment flashed through my mind. She's the only one who makes us proud. A profound realization washed over me. I didn't need them to be proud of me. I just needed to be proud of myself. And for the first time in my entire life, I truly was. I scrolled through old photos, me at work events, dinners with friends, solo trips I'd scraped money together for. In every single one, I was smiling, but the smile never quite reached my eyes. I looked tired, defeated. Right then, standing in my bathroom, hair messy, wearing sweatpants, I took a selfie. And I smiled. A real smile. Because I had finally done something for me. I posted it on my own Instagram, with a simple caption, 30 and thriving. No tags. No need. This wasn't for them. This was for me. A month later, they tried again. Mom, having been blocked by me on everything else, resorted to email. The subject line, we need to talk about this situation. I almost deleted it without reading. Almost. But a morbid curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. It was exactly what you'd expect. Ashley, your father and I have been discussing your recent behavior, and we think you owe us an explanation. Taking that money was extremely selfish, especially when you knew we had plans. Brooke has been very upset by all of this, and frankly, so have we. We raised you better than this. We expect you to return the money immediately and apologize to your sister for ruining her trip experience. She's been crying every day since she found out what you did. Family is supposed to support each other, and you've let us all down. Please call us so we can resolve this like adults. I read it 3 times. Each time, my blood pressure climbing higher. They expected me to apologize? To return my money? And somehow, in their twisted logic, I was the one who ruined Brooke's trip, a trip she'd already taken and enjoyed, funded by my own hard-earned money. My fingers flew across the keyboard. Mom, I don't owe you anything. Not an explanation, not an apology, and certainly not that money. I gave it to you in good faith, believing you needed it for medical bills and essential expenses. Instead, you used it to spoil Brooke while treating me like I didn't exist. I'm done being your backup bank account. I'm done being invisible. Don't contact me again unless you're ready to have an honest conversation about how you've treated me for the last 30 years. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Meanwhile, the medical billing course was going great. I was 2 months in, acing all my classes. Patricia and I had become genuine friends, studying together, sharing our lives. She was the first person I told about the full extent of what had happened. They said what? She asked, eyes wide with disbelief, as we sat in the coffee shop. They want me to apologize and return the money. Are they insane? She exclaimed. Apparently. I took a sip of my coffee. Mom made it sound like I'd committed some terrible crime. Patricia shook her head. You know what I think? They're panicking. They got used to having that cushion of money, and now it's gone. They're trying to guilt you into giving it back. It's working a little, I admit it. I keep thinking about Brooke crying. Brooke's a grown woman. If she's crying, it's because she finally had to face reality. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But there was still that little part of me that felt guilty. The part that had been conditioned since childhood to put everyone else first, to smooth things over, to make sure everyone else was happy. Everyone except me. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number, but I recognized the Virginia area code. Against my better judgment, I answered. Hello, Ashley. It's Dad. I should have hung up. Blocked him immediately. But something in his voice stopped me. What do you want? I want to talk. Really talk. Not argue. Not fight. Just talk. I hesitated. I'm listening. Your mom's email was out of line. I told her that. But Ashley, you have to understand where we're coming from. Money. We had plans for it. Plans that didn't include me. I finished for him. He sighed. It's not that simple. Actually, Dad, it is. You took my money and gave it to Brooke. You let Mom post that comment on Instagram saying Brooke was the only one who made you proud. You forgot my birthday. It really is that simple. We didn't forget your birthday. Your mom was just distracted with getting Brooke to the airport. That's worse, Dad. That's so much worse. You chose to prioritize Brooke over me. Again. Like you always do. Brooke needs more support. She's not as stable as you are. And there it was. The ancient, tired excuse I'd heard 1,000 times growing up. Brooke needs more. Brooke's struggling. Brooke deserves special treatment. And me? I was just supposed to be stable. Solid. The one who never needed anything. I'm not doing this anymore, I said quietly. I'm not going to keep setting myself on fire to keep everyone else warm. Ashley, no, Dad. I'm done. I took my money back and I'm using it to better my life. If you can't be happy for me, then we don't have anything else to talk about. I hung up, and I immediately blocked his number. My hands were shaking, but a strange, liberating calm washed over me. Every time I stood up to them, it got a little easier. The guilt was still there, but it was quieter now, easier to ignore. Vanessa noticed my mood at work that week. She pulled me aside during lunch. You okay? You seem tense. My dad called, I told her. Oh no, what happened? I recounted the whole conversation, his flimsy excuses, his insistence that Brooke needs more support, and my final, definitive, I'm done. Vanessa listened, truly listened, then said, You know what I think? I think you're grieving. Grieving? Yeah, you're grieving the family you thought you had. The family you wanted to have. And that's okay. It's normal. But you can't let that grief pull you back into their dysfunction. She was right. I was grieving. Mourning the relationship I'd never have with my parents, the sisterhood Brooke and I would never truly share. But more than that, I was grieving the version of myself who'd spent so many years trying to earn love that should have been freely given. That weekend, as I studied at the coffee shop, my phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. This time, it was Brooke. Ashley, please talk to me. I got a new phone. I didn't know about the money. I didn't know they were using yours. I'm so sorry. Can we please talk? I stared at the message, a war raging inside me. Part of me wanted to respond, to hear what she had to say. But the stronger part, the part that was finally protecting itself, knew it wouldn't change anything. I typed back, Brooke, I need space. I'm not ready to talk yet. Maybe someday. But not now. She replied immediately, I understand. I'm here when you're ready. I love you. I didn't reply. 3 months into my medical billing course, something truly unexpected happened. My instructor, Diane, a woman who'd worked in healthcare administration for 2 decades, pulled me aside after class. Ashley, I wanted to talk to you about your work. You're one of the top students in the program. Thank you, I said, genuinely surprised. I'm serious. Your attention to detail is exceptional, and you have a real knack for this. Have you thought about what you want to do after you finish the program? I was hoping to find a position at a hospital or clinic. Something stable, I replied. Diane smiled. I have a friend who works at Virginia Commonwealth University Health System. They're looking for someone to join their billing department. It's a senior position and the pay is excellent. I'd like to recommend you. My heart skipped. Really? Really? I'll send you the details. You'd have to interview, of course, but I think you'd be perfect for it. I floated out of class that day, feeling lighter than I had in months. This was it. This was the opportunity I'd been working towards. And I'd done it all on my own, without my family's support or their approval. When I got home, an envelope had been slipped under my door. No return address, but I instantly recognized the handwriting, Mom's. I opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a birthday card, 3 months late, and a check for $500. The card read, "We're sorry we missed your birthday. We hope this makes up for it. Love, Mom and Dad." $500. A pathetic fraction of what I'd given them over the years. And they thought this would fix things? I tore up the check. And I threw it in the trash. The interview at Virginia Commonwealth University Health System was scheduled for the following Tuesday. I prepped all weekend, reviewing coursework, practicing answers. Vanessa even helped me pick out a professional outfit, a navy blazer, slacks, that made me feel capable, confident. Morning of, I woke up with a knot of butterflies in my stomach. This was it. The biggest opportunity in years. I wasn't going to let their drama ruin this for me. The interview? It went better than I could have imagined. Caroline, the hiring manager, was so impressed with my sales background and my dedication to completing the medical billing program while working full-time. We need someone organized, detail-oriented, who can handle high-pressure situations, she said. From what Diane told me, and what I'm seeing here, you fit that description perfectly. Thank you, I managed. I'm really excited about this opportunity. The position comes with full benefits, and the starting salary is $75,000 a year. Does that work for you? $75,000. I nearly fell out of my chair. That was almost double what I was making before. That works perfectly, I somehow managed to squeak out. Great. I'll be in touch by the end of the week with our decision. I walked out of that hospital building feeling like I was floating. This was real. My life was actually, finally, turning around. When I got back to my car, my phone screen was a blaze of red. 6 missed calls from Mom, 3 from Dad. I ignored them all. That evening, Vanessa insisted we go out to celebrate. At a wine bar downtown, I poured out the whole story. The interview, the salary, how surreal it all felt. "You deserve this," she said, raising her glass. "After everything you've been through, you deserve something good." I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, I confessed. Like, something's going to go wrong. Nothing's going to go wrong. You're talented. You've worked hard. And you're finally putting yourself first. That's not selfish. That's survival. We talked for hours. And for the first time in months, I felt genuinely happy. Not just relieved or vindicated. Truly, deeply happy. But when I got home, another email from Mom. Subject line, emergency. My stomach clenched. Despite everything, they were still my parents. If something was truly wrong. I opened it. "Ashley, we need to talk immediately. Your father lost his job last week, and we're in serious financial trouble. We need that money back. This isn't a request. This is a genuine emergency. We could lose the house. Please call us as soon as you get this. Mom." I read it twice. My soaring happiness from the evening drained away. Dad lost his job? They might lose the house? And somehow, this was my responsibility. Except it wasn't. I'd given them $36,000 over 6 years. They chose to spend it on luxury trips and gifts for Brooke instead of saving for actual emergencies. This was the consequence of their choices, not mine. But still, the guilt was crushing. They were my parents. No matter how badly they'd treated me, did I really want them to lose their home? I called Vanessa. "They're saying it's an emergency," I blurted out. "My dad lost his job. They might lose the house." "Ashley, listen to me very carefully," she said, her voice firm. "This is not your problem. But what if they're telling the truth? What if they really are in trouble? Then they need to figure it out like adults. They can downsize. They can get new jobs. They can ask Brooke for help. You are not their safety net. You gave them $36,000 and they wasted it. If they're in financial trouble now, that's on them. I know you're right, I whispered. I know that. But no buts. You're about to start an amazing new job. You're building a life for yourself. Don't let them drag you back down. I took a shaky breath. You're right. You're absolutely right. After hanging up with Vanessa, I replied to Mom's email. Mom, I'm sorry to hear about Dad's job, but I can't help you financially. I gave you $36,000 over the years, and you chose to spend it on things that weren't emergencies. I have my own life to worry about now. I suggest you talk to Brooke about helping out, since she's the one you've always prioritized. Best of luck, Ashley. I hit send. Then I turned off my phone. 3 days later, the call came from Caroline. I'd gotten the job. I burst into tears right there in my living room. Happy tears. Relieved tears. Tears for everything I'd been through to get to that moment. I'd done it. I'd actually finally done it. Patricia was the first person I called. She screamed so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. I'm so proud of you, she cried. This is just the beginning, Ashley. You're going to do amazing things. Then Vanessa, who insisted we celebrate properly. We went to a nice restaurant, nothing too fancy, but definitely a step up from my usual. I ordered the most expensive thing on the menu and didn't feel a shred of guilt. To new beginnings. Vanessa toasted, raising her glass. To new beginnings, I echoed. My start date at the hospital was in 3 weeks. I gave my notice at the pharmaceutical company. My boss was understanding, even congratulatory. The medical billing course was winding down, and I'd finished with top marks. Everything was finally falling into place. Then, Brooke showed up. I was coming home from the grocery store when I saw her sitting on the steps outside my building. She looked different, thinner, tired. Her usual polished appearance was gone, replaced by something subdued. What are you doing here? I asked, not unkindly, but certainly not warmly. I needed to see you. To apologize in person. Brooke, I told you I need space. I know, but please, just give me 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I hesitated. Then I unlocked the door. 5 minutes. We went up to my apartment. I set the groceries on the counter. Brooke stood awkwardly in my living room, looking around like she'd never been there before. Which she hadn't. I'd never invited her. Ashley, I didn't know, she started, her voice small. I swear I didn't know they were using your money. When I found out, I confronted them. We had a huge fight. They told me I was being dramatic, that you'd given them the money freely, and now you were just trying to hold it over their heads. But I know that's not true. I went through their bank statements. I saw everything. I crossed my arms. So, what do you want? Absolution. No, she said, her voice cracking. I want you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being oblivious. For taking everything for granted. For not realizing how badly they were treating you. You're my sister, and I should have noticed. Tears welled in her eyes. Brooke, you were just being who they taught you to be. I don't blame you for that. But I should have been better. I should have paid attention. I should have stood up for you. I softened a little. Yeah, you should have. I told them I'm not taking any more money from them until they apologize to you. And I meant it. That surprised me. You did. I did. And they're furious with me now too. Apparently, I'm being ungrateful. Despite everything, a small flicker of sympathy ignited. Welcome to my world. I don't know how you dealt with this for so long. I didn't have a choice. Brooke wiped her eyes. I'm moving out of their house. I got my own apartment, and I'm going back to school to finish my degree. I'm not going to be their perfect little princess anymore. Good for you, I said, and I truly meant it. Do you think we could ever be real sisters? She asked, her voice hopeful. Not just by blood, but actually, be there for each other? I thought about it. Maybe someday. But it's going to take time, Brooke. A lot of time. I understand. I'll wait as long as it takes. After she left, I sat on my couch. She was trying. She was actually trying. It didn't erase the past, but it was something. My phone buzzed again, another email from Mom. I almost didn't open it. But I did. Ashley, I don't know what you said to Brooke, but she's refusing to help us. You've turned her against us. You're tearing this family apart. I hope you're happy. Mom. I deleted it. I was happy. And that, I realized, was what terrified them the most. The next 2 weeks flew by. I finished the medical billing course at the top of my class, certification in hand, ready for my new job. Patricia threw me a small celebration, just pizza and cake, but it felt more genuine, more joyful than any family gathering I'd ever attended. Someone called for a speech. Awkward, but grateful I stood. 6 months ago, I was in a really dark place. I felt invisible, unappreciated. But this course, and all of you, helped me remember that I'm worth something. So, thank you for being there for me. Everyone clapped, and Patricia pulled me into a hug. You're going to kill it at that hospital, she whispered. The day before I started my new job, I unfollowed my parents on all social media. No block, just no more seeing their lives. I was done letting their drama affect mine. As I scrolled, I noticed something odd. A status update from Mom, 2 days prior. Sometimes your children disappoint you in ways you never imagined. We raised Ashley to be better than this, but she's chosen selfishness over family, praying for her to see the light. Dozens of comments. Most were family and friends I barely knew, parroting Mom's narrative. Stay strong. Family is everything. But then, a few gems. My Aunt Linda, Dad's sister, commented, maybe it's time to look at your own actions instead of blaming Ashley. I've watched you treat that girl like garbage for years. She deserves better. And my cousin Jake, Ashley's been supporting you guys financially for years, and you never even thanked her. Maybe she got tired of being taken for granted. A fierce rush of vindication. Other people had noticed. Other people knew the truth. I screenshotted the post, saved the comments. Just in case. My first day at Virginia Commonwealth University Health System was a whirlwind. Nerve-wracking, but exhilarating. Caroline showed me around, introduced me to the team. You'll do great, she said. If you need anything, just ask. I spent that first week devouring every detail, learning systems, processes. It was a lot, but I loved every minute. This was real. This was mine. No one could take it away. At the end of that first week, Caroline called me into her office. I wanted to check in. How are you adjusting? It's been amazing, I said. Thank you again for this opportunity. You've earned it. I'm getting great feedback. You're catching on fast. I'm trying my best. I can tell. And I want you to know there's room for growth here. If you keep performing at this level, I could see you moving into a management position within a year or two. Management. Within a year or two. I could barely process it. That would be incredible, I stammered. Great. We'll make it official next week. I left her office feeling like I was floating. That weekend, I finally responded to Brooke's last text. I invited her to lunch. Just a casual cafe. No frills, no emotional intensity. Just two sisters, seeing if we could salvage anything from the wreckage. She arrived, clutching her purse like a lifeline, looking so nervous. Thanks for agreeing to meet, she said as we sat down. I figured it was time. We ordered sandwiches, made small talk. Her new apartment, her plans to go back to school, my new job. It was stilted, awkward, but it was a start. I talked to Mom and Dad again, she said, eventually. They're still refusing to take responsibility. They think you're being vindictive. Of course they do. I told them I wasn't going to be part of their games anymore. That if they wanted a relationship with me, they needed to grow up and apologize to you. How'd that go? About as well as you'd expect. Mom hung up on me. Dad called me an ungrateful brat. A pang of sympathy. I'm sorry. Don't be, she said, shaking her head. You were right about everything. I was so blind, Ashley. I took everything for granted. And I let them turn me into this spoiled, oblivious person. I don't want to be that anymore. Change takes time. I know. But I'm willing to put in the work. If you'll let me. I looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw something I hadn't seen before. Sincerity. Remorse. A genuine desire to be better. Okay, I said finally. But we're starting from scratch. No expectations. No pressure. Just two people trying to be sisters. I can live with that. We finished lunch, parting with an awkward but genuine hug. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a beginning. That night, my phone buzzed again. Mom had tagged me in a Facebook post. Against my better judgment, I clicked. It was a long, rambling message about family values, respect, and how children owe their parents everything. At the end, she'd written, "Ashley, if you're reading this, know that your father and I are heartbroken by your actions. We're praying you'll come back to us before it's too late." The comments were a mixed bag. Some supporting my parents, others asking what happened. A few relatives were even asking me directly. I could have ignored it. Probably. Should have. But something inside me snapped. I commented, "Mom, I gave you $36,000 over 6 years to help with medical bills and expenses. You used it to fund luxury trips and gifts for Brooke while ignoring me completely. You forgot my birthday. Publicly stated that Brooke was the only child who made you proud. And now you're trying to guilt me into giving you more money. I'm done being your ATM. If you want a relationship with me, start by apologizing and taking responsibility for your actions." I hit post. No second guessing. Within minutes, the comments exploded. Shocked relatives. Supportive ones. Aunt Linda chimed in. Finally, someone said it. Mom responded, "This is a private family matter. How dare you air our business publicly?" I shot back, "You made it public when you tagged me. I'm just telling my side of the story." Then I logged off. And I blocked both my parents on all social media. My hands were shaking, but I felt lighter than I had in years. I'd finally told the truth. I'd finally stood up for myself in a way that couldn't be ignored or dismissed. And I was done apologizing for it. The Facebook post exploded overnight. By morning, over 200 comments, countless shares. My phone was blowing up with messages from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, some supportive, others demanding explanations. My Aunt Linda called me at 7 a.m. "Ashley, honey, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Aunt Linda. Better than fine, actually. I just saw what you posted." I had no idea it was that bad. Most people didn't. They were good at hiding it. Well, the truth is out now. Your Uncle Tom and I, we're on your side. What your parents did was inexcusable. Thank you. That means a lot. And between you and me, she lowered her voice conspiratorially. Your mother is losing her mind. Calling everyone, trying to get them to side with her. It's not going well. A small surge of satisfaction. Good. After Linda, I checked my email. 3 messages from Mom, each more desperate. The first, angry, accusing me of betrayal. The second, manipulative, about how hurt she and Dad were. The third, almost pleading, asking me to delete the post and call her. I deleted all 3. That Monday, I plunged into my new role. The hospital billing department was complex, demanding, but I thrived on the challenge. Caroline had given me high-priority accounts, and I was determined to prove myself. During lunch, Vanessa called. "So, I saw your Facebook post. You and everyone else," I sighed. "Are you okay?" That took guts. I'm tired of hiding their dysfunction. If they wanted privacy, they shouldn't have aired their grievances publicly first. Fair point. How are they taking it? Not well, from what I hear. But that's not my problem anymore. Good for you. Seriously, I'm proud of you. That afternoon, an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Something told me to. "Hello, Ashley. It's your dad." I tensed. "How did you get this number?" "I asked your cousin Jake." "Please don't hang up." I said nothing, just waited. Your mother is beside herself. That Facebook post, you've humiliated us in front of the entire family. You humiliated yourselves. I just told the truth. We need to meet face to face. We need to resolve this. There's nothing to resolve, Dad. You and Mom made your choices. I made mine. We're done. Ashley, please. We're your parents. Then maybe you should have acted like it. I shot back, a flash of old anger. I'm asking you one more time. Meet with us this week. We'll buy you dinner. We'll talk things through, like adults. I almost laughed, a bitter sound. Like adults, Dad? Adults don't forget their daughter's birthday. Adults don't steal money from one child to spoil another. Adults take responsibility for their actions. We're willing to admit we made mistakes, he said. That stopped me. You're willing to admit it? Yes. We know we haven't been perfect. We want to make things right. I paused. A long, agonizing moment. Part of me wanted to refuse, to keep the wall up. But another part, the little girl inside who still just wanted her parents to love her, wondered if, just maybe, he was sincere. Fine, I said. One dinner. But I'd choose the place. And Brooke comes too. Why does Brooke need to be there? Because she's part of this family too. And she deserves to hear whatever you have to say. He hesitated. Okay. When? Friday night, 6 p.m. I'll text you the address. After hanging up, I immediately called Brooke. They want to meet, I told her. All of us. Friday night. What did you say? I said yes. But I need you there as backup. Of course. I'll be there. And Brooke, don't tell them what we've talked about. I want to see if they're actually going to be honest, or if this is just another manipulation. Got it. I spent the next few days preparing. I wrote down everything I wanted to say. Every buried grievance. I wasn't going to yell or cry. I was going to be calm, clear, and firm. They were going to hear me, whether they liked it or not. Friday arrived faster than I expected. I chose a quiet restaurant downtown, public enough to prevent a scene, but private enough for a serious conversation. I arrived early, took a table in the back. Brooke showed up 15 minutes before Mom and Dad, looking nervous. You okay? She asked. I will be. At exactly 6 p.m., they walked in. Mom looked older, her face tight with stress. Dad had lost weight, his shoulders hunched. They sat across from us. Silence. Finally, Dad cleared his throat. Thank you for agreeing to meet. Let's just get to it, I said. You wanted to talk, so talk. Mom folded her hands. Ashley, we owe you an apology. I waited. We've been thinking a lot about what you said. About the money. And how we've treated you. And, you're right. We haven't been fair to you. Go on. We've always worried about Brooke more, because she struggled with things you seemed to handle so easily. You were always so independent, so capable. We thought you didn't need us as much, so we just stopped trying. You didn't stop trying. You just prioritized differently. You forgot my birthday. Mom, you commented on Instagram that Brooke was the only one who made you proud. How was that prioritizing differently? She looked down. That comment was a mistake. I was just excited for your sister. A mistake you left up for everyone to see. Dad jumped in. We're here because we want to fix this. We want our family back. You want your ATM back? I corrected, my voice cold. Let's be honest about what this is really about. That's not fair, Mom protested. Isn't it? Dad lost his job. You're in financial trouble. And suddenly you want to reconcile. The timing's pretty convenient, wouldn't you say? Brooke, for the first time, spoke up. She's right. You didn't care about fixing things until you needed money. Mom rounded on her, shocked. Brooke, you know that's not true. Actually, I don't. Ashley's been telling the truth about everything. I went through the bank statements. I saw where all her money went. And I've been thinking about how differently you treated us growing up. She's not making this up. We gave you both everything we could. Dad insisted. No, I said firmly. You gave Brooke everything. You gave me leftovers and criticism. The table fell silent. Finally, Mom's facade cracked. What do you want from us, Ashley? You want us to grovel? To beg? We're here. We're apologizing. What more do you want? I want you to mean it. I want you to understand why. What you did was wrong. I want you to acknowledge that you hurt me. Not just say sorry because you think it's what I want to hear. Fine. You want specifics? We're sorry we forgot your birthday. We're sorry we didn't celebrate your achievements. We're sorry we used your money. Is that what you wanted to hear? Say it like you mean it, I challenged. Mom's face hardened. I've said all I'm going to say. If that's not good enough for you, then I guess we're done here. She stood, grabbing her purse. Dad looked between us, conflicted. Are you coming? She snapped at him. He stood slowly. Ashley, I hope you reconsider. Family is important. Family is important, I agreed. That's why I'm not letting you abuse me anymore. They left without another word. Brooke and I sat in silence for a moment. Well, she finally said, that went about as well as expected. Yeah. Are you okay? I am, actually. I gave them a chance. They blew it. That's on them. We ordered dinner. We talked for an hour about everything but our parents. Brooke talked about her new apartment, her classes. I talked about work, my future plans. For the first time, we were just two sisters having dinner. No competition, no favoritism, no drama. Just us. When we left, Brooke hugged me tight. Thank you for giving me another chance, she whispered. Thank you for showing up. The next few weeks brought a new normal. I thrived at my job, impressing Caroline and the team. The hospital environment, the sense of contributing, it all suited me perfectly. My parents still tried. Emails, voicemails, even a letter. Always the same, superficially apologetic, but underneath, manipulative, circling back to their financial woes and how I could help. I ignored them all. The Facebook drama eventually faded, but not before several relatives reached out privately, confessing they'd suspected something was wrong for years. Aunt Linda became a constant presence, inviting me to dinners, holidays. She'd always been kind, but now she was actively, fiercely supportive. Your mother is furious with me, she told me over coffee one Sunday. She thinks I'm turning the family against her. Are you? I asked, a wry smile. Nope. She did that all by herself. I'm just refusing to pretend everything's fine. 3 months after that disastrous dinner, Caroline called me into her office again. I have some news, she said, a wide smile. We're creating a new position, Assistant Director of Medical Billing. I'd like to offer it to you. My jaw dropped. Already? You've proven yourself, Ashley. You're organized, efficient, and the team respects you. This position comes with a significant raise and more responsibilities. What do you say? Yes. Absolutely yes. I practically shouted. Great. We'll make it official next week. I left her office in a daze. Assistant Director. 6 months ago, I'd been crying over a lonely birthday cupcake, feeling worthless. Now, a leadership role at a major hospital. I called Vanessa immediately. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I can't believe it's happening. I can. You've worked incredibly hard. You deserve this. That weekend, Patricia threw an impromptu celebration. It was small, just her kids, Vanessa, and Brooke, but it meant everything. These were the people who'd seen me at my lowest and championed me as I rebuilt my life. To Ashley, Patricia toasted, raising her soda. The strongest person I know. Everyone echoed it, and tears pricked my eyes. Thank you, I managed. All of you, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Later that night, driving home, my phone rang. Dad. I almost let it go to voicemail. But something made me answer. Hello, Ashley. It's Dad. Please don't hang up. What do you want? I asked, my voice cautious. I wanted to tell you I got a new job. Doesn't pay as much as the old one, but it's something. And your mom's working part-time at a retail store. Good for you. We're going to be okay. We're figuring it out. I waited for the ask, for the manipulation. But it didn't come. I also wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I want something from you, but because you deserve to hear it. We were wrong. We treated you terribly. There's no excuse. I pulled over, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. Your mother isn't ready to admit it yet, but I am. You were right about everything. We took you for granted. We played favorites. We used you. And I'm sorry. Tears streamed down my face. This was what I'd wanted to hear for 30 years. Thank you, I whispered. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to want a relationship with me. I just needed you to know that I see what we did, and I'm ashamed of it. We talked for another 20 minutes. He never asked for money. Never tried to guilt me. He just talked. And I listened. And for the first time in my life, I felt like my dad actually saw me. When we hung up, I sat in my car for a long time, just processing. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. The following months brought changes I never could have imagined. My new role as assistant director kept me busy, but profoundly fulfilled. I streamlined processes, saved thousands, improved patient satisfaction. Caroline sang my praises, other directors sought my input. Brooke and I grew closer, meeting for dinner weekly, texting constantly. She'd enrolled in community college, working towards a business degree, even started therapy to unpack our family dynamics. My therapist says I was conditioned to see myself as superior, she told me one evening. Recognizing that is the first step to changing. How's that going? Hard. Really hard. I keep catching myself expecting special treatment, then I have to remind myself that's not normal. The fact that you're trying means something. My relationship with Dad slowly, cautiously improved. Phone calls every few weeks. My mom still hadn't apologized. I'd accepted she probably never would. Some people just aren't capable of that kind of self-reflection. 6 months into my new position, at a healthcare conference in DC, I met Grace, who ran a consulting firm. You have some really interesting ideas, she said after my presentation. Ever thought about consulting? I just smiled. I'm happy where I am. That Christmas, I spent the holiday with Aunt Linda's family. It was the first Christmas in years I felt genuinely welcomed, valued. Brooke came too. We exchanged gifts, laughed, ate too much. My parents called Christmas morning. Dad wished me a Merry Christmas. I could hear Mom in the background, but she didn't get on the phone. How's your day going? He asked. It's good. Really good. I'm glad. You deserve it. After we hung up, I felt no sadness, no anger. Just peace. The new year brought more opportunities. Caroline approached me about a master's degree in healthcare administration. The hospital would pay for most of it. I enrolled online. Vanessa got engaged, asked me to be a bridesmaid. Patricia's daughter graduated, inspired by our stories to pursue nursing. My life was full in ways I never thought possible. One Saturday, cleaning my apartment, I found the old birthday card from my parents. The $500 check torn up. I'd kept the pieces, not sure why. I looked at them, then finally threw them away. I didn't need their money. I didn't need their approval. I had built a life I was proud of, surrounded by people who actually valued me. That evening, a message from Brooke. Just wanted to say, I'm proud of you for everything. I smiled, typing back, proud of you too. A few days later, Mom finally broke her silence. An email, no subject line. Ashley, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Your father tells me you're doing well, and I'm glad. I'm not good at apologies, and I don't know if I ever will be, but I want you to know that I do see you now. I see what we did. How we hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better. Maybe one day we can talk. Mom. It wasn't the groveling apology I'd once fantasized about. It wasn't even a particularly good apology. But it was something. I wrote back, thank you for saying that. I'm not ready to have a relationship yet, but maybe someday. I hope you and Dad are doing okay. She responded, we are. And I hope you are too. That was enough. For now. As spring turned to summer, my life continued to flourish. The hospital promoted me again, this time to Director of Revenue Operations. My salary had nearly tripled. I started looking at houses. My parents struggled for a while, eventually selling their large house, moving into a smaller condo. They both worked now, living within their means for the first time. Brooke told me they sometimes talked about me, expressing regret, though Mom still struggled to say it directly to me. Brooke graduated with honors, transferred to a 4-year university, finding her own path. Family members who'd sided with my parents gradually reached out, some apologizing, others just trying to rebuild bridges. I was selective, choosing authentic relationships over obligatory ones. Aunt Linda remained a constant. Through her, I connected with cousins who'd shared similar experiences of favoritism. We bonded over our stories. 1 year after that fateful birthday, I celebrated turning 31 with a party at my new townhouse. Vanessa, Patricia, Brooke, Aunt Linda, colleagues from the hospital. They were all there. We ate, drank, laughed. I felt genuinely celebrated for the first time. As everyone sang happy birthday, I looked around at these people, my chosen family. I was overwhelmed with gratitude. Not for the struggle, but for the strength I'd found within myself to fight back. My parents never fully regained their old financial stability. Dad's new job paid less, Mom's retail position was part-time, no benefits. They lived modestly, something they'd never had to do with my money. The lavish trips, the expensive gifts for Brooke? Impossible now. Brooke told me Mom complained constantly about clipping coupons, shopping sales, never acknowledging my past contributions. Dad seemed genuinely changed, accepting responsibility. But Mom? She continued making subtle comments to relatives, subtly suggesting I could have prevented their struggles if I hadn't been so selfish. The extended family, though, saw through the manipulation now. Most had stopped enabling her narrative. Looking back at everything, I realized withdrawing that money wasn't revenge. It was self-preservation. I'd spent so many years trying to earn love that should have been freely given. Trying to prove my worth to people who'd already decided I wasn't enough. Taking back what was mine wasn't about hurting them. It was about finally choosing myself. And in doing so, I discovered something more valuable than any amount of money could buy, the unshakable knowledge that I was enough. That I'd always been enough. And that I didn't need anyone's approval to prove it. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply living well. And refusing to let anyone dim your light ever again.